Hello, hello. Welcome to today's episode. I was getting ready to go to the gym and I realized that I have a message about coming back to ourselves, about no longer outsourcing our power. And what happens when we get to the part in our journey where we become just done with things, done with abandoning ourselves, done keeping the peace, done with the messaging that overrides our intuition, done with the pressure to perform, to do, to create, done with the pressure to be like everyone else, done with the pressure of doing it everyone else's way, building others' blueprints. What happens when we're done trading peace, our peace, for chaos and turmoil and dread? It can feel like we're slowly being stripped away down to like nothingness. It can feel like we're down to the bare bones of who we are. And it can feel like we've lost ourselves. Finding ourselves is the journey, is the part that I believe this is not talked about a lot. It might be in different formats, but the way that I'm bringing it today, I realize today I'm done. I'm done playing the part. I'm done building other people's blueprints. I'm done building my life other people's way. I'm done listening to the messaging that tells me who I have to be, what I have to do, the messaging of pressure, the messaging of performance. I'm done with the messaging of be this, be that. No, do it this way. No, do it that way. No, if you're not this, then you're not successful. If you're not doing this, then you're broke. If you're not fill in the blank, then you are. There's a lot of either or messaging out there. Either you're successful or you're not. Either you're making excuses or you're getting results. Either you have faith or you have fear, but you can't have both. Messaging I've heard for decades, by the way, and my whole life. But the last few decades, let's just put it that way, the messaging has been really loud. People have said, "Oh, hey, thank you for joining. I see you're here. If this is your first time, let me know in the comments where you are listening from." I love that my podcast, I love connecting with people from all over the world. It's pretty cool. So I realized today, as I was sitting in my quiet time, I was doing some deep reflection and inner work, and I was like, this is what I came to. Now, I know that I'm not the only one who is thinking this. I know that there are others who are like, does anybody see me? Does anybody hear me? And I want to say yes, I do. I love to bring things in a different style than what I was trained and programmed to bring. And it's like, no, 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 I'm going to speak the truth. I'm going to say the thing that nobody else will. And if they are, they're probably saying it in a different fashion, which is fine. But I am not here to sugarcoat. I'm not here to deflect anything. I'm not here to bypass the raw, hard truth about where we're at in our journey. And let's face it, there are parts of our journey where we are climbing up that mountain. And then we get to the mountain and we look back and we're like, wow, look at all the stuff I've overcome. And you turn around and you look and you're like, yes, look at what I have done. Look at all the stuff. And then you turn back around and you see how much farther you have to go. And you're like, oh, I thought I was just done in my journey. And the truth of the matter is the mountaintop is not our destination. We don't stay on the mountaintop. We've got to go through the tough stuff in order to get to the mountaintop. We got to go through I call it the land of giants. I got that from a book. One of my favorite books ever is called The Dream Giver. It's by Dr. Bruce Wilkinson. Go to Amazon and get it. I should do a contest. I could do a contest and then send somebody the prize, which is that book. So it's talking about God being the dream giver. And all of a sudden, a man named Ordinary, who lives in the land of familiar, sets on this journey to go find his dream. Now, In the real world, now this actually applies to the real world. This is just a story, but I love it because it applies to real life. When we set out towards building our dream, that's where the messaging comes in. That's where the programming comes in. That's where you hear all kinds of stuff. And it can sound like this: monetize your gifts, monetize your dreams. You want to build something fantastic? Go build a business. Yes, let me just throw you in the business world. Well, let me explain that telling people just go build a business with your gift and your dream, that can be detrimental to people who have been programmed or who might have, it's not everyone is built or wired to build a business, and that's okay, right? I mean, there's a lot of messaging out there that shows that building a business is a glittery unicorn fashion, and it's like, no, it's not. I believe, though, and this is what a lot of mentors have said, is that when you start a business, it showcases, it brings stuff up that you never thought possible. Now, I'm going to say that that is very true, because in the corporate world, the raw stuff that I'm even talking about today does not show up. In my experience in the corporate world for over 3 decades, I have learned how to bring my superpower to the forefront. I have learned how to bring complex systems and create a environment of peace where people can take the most complicated thing, bring it to me, and I can hand it back to them with an easier blueprint on how to keep going without burnout, how to find the ease and flow, how to switch up the energy, not faking, of course. That's what I do. I'm an environmental change agent, if you will. And that's what I do. I bring that both to the business world and to the corporate world. But what I'm sharing today is when we are in a familiar place, the true raw stuff doesn't pop up. It doesn't necessarily pop up until we can get in the space of somebody who can hand us a mirror and say, here you go. Now, it's not a bad thing I'm handing you this mirror, but if you want to get to that next mountaintop, you're going to have to face some hard stuff. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to come alongside you and I'm going to walk with you. I'm going to lead the way, but I'm also going to walk with you. I'm not going to, I'm not going to do the work for you. I'm not going to, hand holding. I'm not going to hold your hand. I'm going to lead. I'm going to guide. I'm going to encourage. I'm going to hand you a blueprint, hand you the mirror. But it isn't until we look in the mirror and say the hard stuff. Look at the hard stuff. There comes a part, though, where being done doesn't mean you're like necessarily angry or just like you're going to give up completely. It just is, it can be a really great place to be, because what it showcases is you've tried all this stuff over here for so long, it's not working anymore. What worked 5, 10 years ago isn't going to work today. By the way, what worked 10 years ago or even, 5 years ago in the corporate world has now changed. So getting familiar with how AI works, especially in your field, you want to become a value piece to your job, get very buddy with AI. Trust me. Okay. In the corporate world, yes, it can be done. You can fight it, or you can just learn about it and learn how to use it. Excuse me. But being done doesn't mean that you're giving up. It means that you are looking at the things that used to work and realizing those keys aren't going to work anymore. You're about to walk through to your next mountain. You cannot bring with you things that used to work 5, 10 years ago. You just can't. You can't bring along the same people. You got to be done with giving time to relationships that weigh you down and put holes in your boat. Cross boundaries. People who don't have a vision, people who love to gossip and complain and vent and don't like it when you're moving forward, those people have to go. Not everybody is meant to go with you. Done. Being done. Being done, putting yourself in environments that treat you any less than what you deserve, whether that's abusive or environments that mimic any other environments that have caused a lot of harm or pain. Corporate is a huge, huge indicator that many are just after the the perks, the benefits, what they can get. But then when they get in there, they realize that, oh boy, this was a big mistake because they don't pay attention to the red flags in the interview. We got to be done with tolerating and putting up with less than what we deserve. We got to be done with tolerating those red flags, all for the sake of getting a free insurance plan in a corporate setting. Because what we have done now is we have traded our peace for insurance, traded our peace for the dollar, traded our peace. Why? Why is that? We've got to be done with sitting in the status quo, done listening to all this messaging and letting it change us, done letting people pressure us. Not that we technically let people, but let's face it, there's a lot of pressure being put on people to go do, be, create, and all the things. And really, we're not asking to be pressured into performance. One thing that I posted very recently was that I'm done performing my way to the top with friendships, with jobs, with my career, with my business. Period. The end. Hands down. I am done performing my way to the top. I'm done abandoning myself just to look successful, just to look the part. I'm done with other people's blueprints telling me how I should build my business, how I should build my life. Growing up in foster care did not teach me to be done with tolerating. Foster care did not teach me that I deserved better than what I got. You want to talk about getting literally in foster care, it's not what people think. No, people aren't lucky. They have good foster parents. No, people aren't, lucky that a foster parent decided to, give them a place to stay. Kids aren't, you know, there's a side to foster care that many don't know about, such as being trafficked or exploited. And there are many it's not what people think. And so for me, I was handed, and foster parenting, like, listen, if you're a great foster parent, thank you. But there are a lot of foster parents who don't deserve to be handed that certificate. But I will tell you what foster care did not teach me. It did not teach me to believe that I deserved less than pain, less than abuse, less than mistreatment, less than being treated like I was worthy. It taught me to tolerate mistreatment, mishandling, the exploitation. Thank God I was not trafficked. I could have been when I was placed in Child Protective Services. Facts, go do the research. They are one of the number one trafficking sources. Child Protective Services. It's not slander, it is the truth. Thank God, though, I was not. But I was exploited for money because foster parents would take me in, but only because they got a paycheck, and they were also very abusive. I share that because I thought that that's what I deserved. I believed it. I believed I wasn't supposed to have anything more than that. So I carried it into my adulthood, and guess what I did? I went and got jobs that mimicked the very places that I feared for my life in. Yes, that the people that mimicked. I just went over this with my therapist very recently, and I'm sharing this with you because being done, it means that we are now stepping into no longer tolerating stuff that we don't deserve to tolerate. No longer stepping into that status quo. It's no longer settling. It's realizing that we deserve better. We deserve the best. We deserve to have success. And I'm going to tell you something. Success is for you is not up to anyone, not a mentor, not a coach, not a pastor, not your spouse. It is not up for anyone else to tell you what success needs to look like. Because when you outsource yourself, your power, you are giving people the power to take you down a different path. And it'll take you a long time to realize you're done. So I'm sharing this podcast with you to let you know, hey, you just keep going. You don't give up, and don't let anyone steer you off your path. And it's okay to be done. It's okay to stop tolerating. It's okay to stop keeping the peace at your own expense. It's okay to speak your truth. To it's okay to have the things that you want, have the life that you want. It's okay to create things differently. It's okay to not do what everybody else is doing just to look successful. There's so much messaging. And yes, I am that person that's going to bring it without the fluff. I am that person that's going to say, hey, do it your way. I've been walking through my own rebellion, and I can tell you that it is a beautiful place to be, because I'm at a place in my life where I'm just done. I don't I don't desire to continue doing things in the same way that I've been doing them, because what I was doing wasn't working. And now I'm done with the things that don't work, because it has robbed me of living the life I want to live. Excuse me. In foster care, I was taught that I didn't have a say to live the life that I wanted to live. And I'm telling you, when I tried to stand my ground, when I tried my best to take back my power and use my voice, it was not welcome. It was not accepted. It was not, it was, a lot of people didn't tolerate it. And as a kid, all I wanted was to be accepted. I heard three words probably like, I don't know, 15 years ago, very long time ago. And I will never forget three words that stood out, and I'll never forget them. I was in church listening to a guest speaker, and all of a sudden, I was just minding my own business. And all of a sudden, I heard three words: renewed, restored, accepted. I had no clue what that meant, but I wrote them down. I've been talking about it ever since then. And I haven't really been able to make sense of what that actually means: renewed, restored, accepted, until very recently. If you hear a noise, I'm starting to make my smoothie because I'm going to start closing. I'm going to go to the gym. But renewed, restored, accepted. When we start becoming done with the same things that we have been so used to, when we're done outsourcing our power, when we're done showing up the way others want us to, or how we think, when we're just done, I'm telling you, something in us gets renewed: our spark, our hope, our joy, our creativity. When we stop abandoning ourselves, we become free. It's as if the very parts of ourselves that settled for less become alive again. And it's a beautiful place to be. It's a very beautiful place to be. So, being done, where in your life are you done? Where in your life are you ready to stop trading peace for accolades and chaos? And where in your life are you ready to start living the way you want? I believe that my messaging to the world, God has me in this place where he's like, hey, gather the misfits, gather them. I don't know why, but I just got goosebumps. I literally just got a fire in my belly. I have had this vision. I'm sharing it with you today, where I am gathering people like in a field on a big, huge rock. and I'm wearing these cool, this cool outfit, and I'm gathering people. It's already evident my voice is listened to. My podcast is, I didn't check the stats this morning, but I can tell you that my podcast, yesterday, I was like 67 away, 1,000 downloads. I have like almost a 400% increase in downloads and listens in less than 6 months. I'd have to say we're on to something amazing. So I've had this vision to gather the misfits, gather the ones who are ready to be accepted, renewed, restored, and to be heard, and to take back the ground, take back their power, to speak, to know that they're not alone, to know that they're heard, to know that they're seen, to know that people no longer have to settle for a life less than what they want, less than what they deserve. It's not some rich person's club. It's not some fancy schmancy club. It's not a club where you have to wear a certain color or, wear a blazer. No, it's a club where you come as you are. My messaging to the world is actually, I'm laughing because when I first started my journey with my first mentor back in 2020, 2021, she asked me, "So, Tiffany, what's your messaging to the world?" And I said, "It's time to cut the shit already." And I didn't really understand what that meant, but it sounded good and it felt amazing to say that, because now I realize that when we become done with tolerating less than what we're worth, when we become done with allowing others to bombard us with pressure, and we become clouded, and our voice becomes drowned out, and our intuition and inner strength and inner knowing becomes cloudy, we suffer. But it isn't until we stop tolerating that our inner strength comes back. There's an inner strength inside each and every one of us, and it's time we stop trading that just to mix in. We're not here to mix in with people. As a foster kid, I was treated as a misfit. I was treated as a less than. I was treated as a paycheck. I was treated as a noisy little thing. That's the way I was treated. I was treated with less than the worth that I deserved. I was treated with disrespect. I was treated violated. So I was taught that I was nobody. That's what I was taught. But I held on to the hope every single day of my life until after I graduated. I even held on to the hope, even after I graduated, that I would get through. And I did. Holding on to that small sliver of hope helped me get through horrific foster care, and also helped me get to this place today. It helped me to step into who you are hearing today. And guess what? I didn't change myself. I'm not showing up as a different Tiffany. I'm showing up as the Tiffany that's renewed, restored, and accepted. And that's what happens when we're done. It's just a beautiful place to be. And so, yes, if anything of what I said is calling you, then you're in the right place, speaking to you, resonating, hitting that spirit that you have, hitting your gut. You're in the right place. And I'm here to gather the misfits. That's what I do. I'm like, you know what? I'm done trying to become what other people have told me to become. I'm done trying to become something else just to look successful, just to get permission from people and be told, "Oh my gosh, you're so successful now because you're making all," and it's like, "Whoa, I have been taught that making tons of money equals success." And because I haven't made a whole ton of money, or at least, I'm talking about outside of the corporate world per se, I've had this belief that I must be less than. But that is not true. So part of being done is also done with the lies, done with the messaging, done with the nonsense, done with the stuff, and finding the truth, running with it, and letting go of the things that no longer serve you, which are the non-truths, which is the messaging that's total BS. Because it's like, why should money have to dictate my worth and my success? I am successful. For a kid, I'm going to end with this. For a kid who was placed in the foster care system before she was one, whose voice was trampled, squashed, ignored, squelched, who almost died as an infant, who almost was knocked off the face of this planet by other kids her age because they were horrible in group homes, and who overcame abuse and who survived the horrific parts about foster care, and now has a podcast that's growing, that has grown in a massive amount that it has in less than 6 months. And who has a track record of helping people heal, finding their own voice, finding their boundaries. They're successful. They're doing things now. They're eliminating burnout. People have gotten amazing jobs when I rewrote their resumes for them, coached them through the job process. I got 100% track record with people. I don't take that for granted. I in fact brag about that, because if I, who was in the foster care system and was told she was less than and treated like a doormat and treated like trash, and I can now go on to do what I'm doing, I'm telling you, it's a beautiful place to be. It's a beautiful thing. And I'm not any more special than anybody else. Holding on to that sliver of hope it means I'm done negating my peace. Hope is what gets me through. Hope helps me activate that faith that I need. As small as a mustard seed, even if it's half a size mustard seed, it's okay. We still got faith. And I'm telling you, once we get on that mountain, you got to go back down the mountain, go through the valley to get back to the next mountain. That's part of life. It's normal. We don't stay in the valley. We don't stay in the pit. We keep going because we're worthy, renewed, restored, accepted. And hey, if you're a misfit like me, welcome. I'm going to create a club. I don't know what the title's going to be just yet, but it's been a work in progress. So thank you so much for listening. I'm going to go do a small workout because, hey, moving your body, lifting weights, ladies, not cardio in our late 30s and 40s and above that. Get your steps in. Go lift weights. Take care of your body. You're worthy of that. Because let's face it, a healthy body helps us get that inner strength we need on the road to our destiny. Thank you for listening.